And now it is time to recap and review the WWE Hell in a Cell Premium Live event that took place last weekend from Chicago, Illinois at the Allstate Arena. Shout out to that Chicago crowd. That was a really good Chicago crowd. They did not try to hijack the show with stupid CM Punk chants or anything like that. I thought it was one of the best Chicago WWE crowds in a long time. And again, given that this premium live event did not have a lot of stakes, I think we got a lot of storylines coming out of it and a lot of good ways to wrap up storylines, as this premium live event did not have any disqualifications. It did not have any countouts. It was just really good wrestling. Starting off with a triple threat match between Bianca Belair, Asuka, and the man Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. I called this last week on the podcast. I said Bianca Belair is going to pin Asuka. It's going to set up an eventual rematch between the EST and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. I did not know that was going to happen in Money in the Bank in Las Vegas. If they were going to do the same city, where obviously Becky Lynch pinned Bianca Belair in 26 seconds last year to win the SmackDown Women's Championship, or if they were going to do it in the same venue. SummerSlam, obviously Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee, huge premium live event coming up at the end of July. That seems to be the direction that they're going to go, as Bianca Belair will defend the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. But this was a really good match. I really like the story of Becky Lynch trying to steal the match every time Bianca Belair and Asuka would wrestle. It kind of felt like all three women were going after each other, but at the same time, it was really a lot of one-on-one action. Whether it was between Becky Lynch and Asuka or Bianca Belair and Asuka. Obviously, we saw Becky Lynch hitting the main angle slam on Asuka, Bianca Belair throwing her out of the ring and picking the bones on Asuka, which sets up the storyline that Becky Lynch got screwed again. As we end in the summer, I thought it was really great booking. I thought, Becky Lynch would hit her with the main handle slam. Bianca would knock her out of the ring and then hit the KOD on Asuka to kind of not have more heel tactics, if you will, by just stealing the victory. But I'm fine with it as long as Bianca Belair retained the Raw Women's Championship, which she did. Very quality, solid matchup. Next matchup was the same way I expected it to play out again. Bobby Lashley defeating Almost and MVP in a 2-on-1 handicap match to end their feud. WWE tried to stack the odds by bringing in Cedric Alexander and really showcasing Almost while MVP stood on the apron. In the end, Almost got taken out by Lashley with a gigantic spear. The Urlock by Lashley, which the crowd was very behind. The Almighty, he ends up winning the 2-on-1 handicap match in a fun contest. The next match was a result I did not expect, and that was Kevin Owens defeating Elias, not Ezekiel. Yes, Ezekiel is a liar, but that was, as we said going into it, a very fun match. I'm surprised that match was on a premium live event. That kind of felt like a Raw match more than a premium live event. Obviously, we're going to see the rematch this coming week on Raw between Kevin Owens and Elias, not Ezekiel, but I just thought it was a great match. I'm surprised Ezekiel/Elias lost clean with a stunner, but at the end of the day, I thought this was just hell of an entertaining contest. Kevin Owens, one of the best persons, in WWE, wrestling-wise, promo-wise, really making this work with Elias, not Ezekiel. And, it really shows how good he's been since he's returned to Raw during the draft last October. He was kind of watching the shuffle on SmackDown, and since he's been on Raw, he's been in WWE Championship feuds, Raw Tag Team Championship feuds, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the main event at WrestleMania, and now one of the most entertaining parts of the show, this feud with Ezekiel/Elias, which had no business being as good as it has been. Moving on to the only match the Judgment Day had together, that being Edge, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest defeating Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Liv Morgan, and again, another very good, quality, solid, high action, 6 tag team match showcasing everybody's ability. Rhea Ripley standing in front of Finn Balor to protect her leader Edge, as Edge hit a spear on Finn Balor, we did not know later on would be foreshadowing. Because the next night on Raw, we know that Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day, but then Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley turned on the Mountain of Omnipotence. They turned on Edge, and they broke Edge's face. Now Edge is going to turn back into the reign of our superstar Edge. We may have to redo our intro back to Edge's old theme song, which is obviously the best WWE theme song of all time. Metalingus by Alter Bridge, though the other side by Alter Bridge. That guitar riff is one hell of a way to enter a show, I must say. So we'll see what we do on that. But again, just another real good quality night. A 6-man tag team match. A great showcase of wrestling. Up next, we had Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, this doofus, whatever you want to call him, taking on Madcap Moss in a no-holds-barred match. And this match, man, was very physical. Madcap Moss, we know, got the win over Happy Corbin. We knew it was going to happen, again, using chairs and kendo sticks. Obviously, the crowd wanted the table. They did not get it. Great ending with Happy Corbin's neck stuck in a steel chair with Madcap Moss using the steel steps. The same way Madcap Moss got destroyed with the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. They're having a last laugh match this week on SmackDown. I can't wait to see what that is. Up next, we had Austin Theory defending the United States Championship against Mustafa Ali in the worst match of the night. I know Mustafa Ali is from the Chicago area. That's why it was on the card. It was a little bit of a cool-down match. Theory hit him with 8 down. Now Theory is moving on to the almighty Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship, which I speculated last week on the show. I think it's a good mini feud for Theory going into Money in the Bank before I presume he takes on John Cena at SummerSlam for the United States Championship, which was, by the way, John Cena's first championship in WWE. Of course, we know John Cena returns to the flagship company June 27th on Monday Night Raw, and I cannot wait. And then we get to the main event. And what do you have to say besides the American Nightmare? Cody Rhodes. Hell of a performance by not only Cody Rhodes, but Seth Rollins, working with a torn back, doing all the spots with tables, the kendo sticks, the steel chairs, the Dusty Rhodes strap, everything. That match was just a phenomenal war. It was a great modern Hell in a Cell match. I wish, as I said last week, they would have broke the Hell in a Cell, because I thought with only one Hell in a Cell match, they could go all out. They could fight on top of the roof. They could break the cell. And who knows, that might have been the plan. But with Cody Rhodes' injury he suffered working out last week, it could have changed plans. But I'm not going to complain about it, man. Kudos to Cody Rhodes for working what we now know is a 6 to 9 month injury, tearing the pectoral pec completely off the bone. Now, Cody Rhodes, after the show and on Monday Night Raw the next night, said it was completely his decision. It was not WWE's decision. The doctors pretty much told him he cannot further injure the pec. It was already completely torn off the bone. So again, when you cannot completely further damage, you can go ahead and finish the match. We've seen this, in the NFL, in the NBA, in baseball, hockey, sports in general, really. When you have an injury, obviously, unless you really cannot move and you're hopping or whatever, but when it's a torn pec, when it's a torn shoulder, most of the time you don't even know it's torn until after the game. We see athletes finish stuff all the time, but to be in the most barbaric structure, Hell in a Cell, and to put on that performance, hell, respect to Cody Rhodes. I said Cody Rhodes was going to win, and this goes back to overthinking. Kind of our theme of the day, right? The fans are kind of overthinking the Boston Golden State series, thinking Boston's the better team. Like, no, Boston just shot really good for 2 of the games. That's why they won. Overall, Golden State has more depth. They are the better team. They're probably going to win this series. I believe in 6 games. Could it go 7? Sure, but I believe it's over in 6. Just like this one. Just because Cody Rhodes is throwing back, that doesn't mean he shouldn't beat Seth Rollins. The story of Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins feud is just the fact that Cody Rhodes is better than Seth Rollins. Do you really want Cody Rhodes to lose his first Hell in a Cell match back in WWE? Hell no. It just adds to Cody Rhodes' big face turn that he's coming into WWE. He's a lot more over in WWE than he is AEW. And when he gets back, maybe if it's by the Royal Rumble time in January, he potentially wins the Royal Rumble and challenges the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And that is still a thing. Otherwise, it may be just the WWE or Universal Champion as we head into WrestleMania 39 season in Hollywood. Of course, we know that the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, defends his championship against Riddle, which should be a phenomenal main event this coming Friday from Minneapolis, Minnesota on Friday Night SmackDown. But again, I thought this was a hell of a show. Great wrestling, great storytelling. All the matches ended clean. It set up rivalries for the future, as almost all the rivalries ended at LNSL. That's what I really loved about this premium live event.